100 road.
Senator McCain, I don't think he has his heart in this. And I think the poll numbers reflect that. I would not be surprised if he's not a candidate in when the Iowa caucuses go. He seems tired. He seems like he's playing a role that he's not accustomed to playing. He's trying to be the party establishment candidate. He's not an establishment guy. And his numbers keep fading in every poll that I see. And there's great dissatisfaction with Senator McCain within the Republican Party, as there's great dissatisfaction with his field. And I just detect a real weary, and this is no inside information. This is strictly just watching him on television. He looks like a man who is tired and doesn't have his heart in this race.
JC.
Well, I would obviously disagree with that. I think John has the challenge of trying to be a senator as well as a presidential candidate. And being a senator in a time that we've got a lot of consternation concerning the war, trying to keep the economy on the right track, which we've done a pretty good job of. But this war thing drains a lot of energy. But I can tell you, as I travel around the country, John McCain has a real presence throughout the country. He's got good organization. He's raising good money. John McCain said himself, he said, I'd rather lose an election than lose a war. And I think if there is some division, it's because he is focused on trying to do the right things in Iraq and get us out of there.
I'll point to these poll numbers are consistent with everything I've seen. He just doesn't seem to really have his heart in this race, and that's just an observation from an old political guy.
So you think he could actually drop out?
I do think so. Well, and I also think that there's a good chance that the Republican nominee is not even in the race yet.
So give me some names.
Jeb Bush. He's the only person I know could unify the Republican Party. Julianne, it's impossible for him to unify the Republican Party. The same is true, I suspect, with Romney. Why are you seeing Fred Thompson talking about get in? Why are you seeing Ron Paul get in? Why are you seeing Chuck Hagel talk about getting in the race? Why are you seeing Newt Gingrich? Because these politicians, there's a political market. They see that there's great dissatisfaction with this field, and each one of them thinks they can fill a void. I don't see a unifying force within the Republican Party right now that can run for president other than Jeb Bush. That's why I think that in the end the party will turn to him.
Well, this is typical primary politics. I think on the Republican and the Democrat side, I could say the same thing for a Democrat candidate, but it doesn't mean that the Democrats are going to be united when they get a candidate. And I think the Republicans are going to be the same way.
But I'm saying something different. Democrats are satisfied, by and large, are satisfied with their choices. Republicans are dissatisfied with their choices.
Well, I think you probably find the same dissatisfaction on both sides because you're always going to find about 20-25% of the electorate on either side is going to be unhappy regardless of who you have in the race.
Listen to former Senator Fred Thompson, who's a major movie star. Listen to what he said yesterday.
Obviously, I feel like that I may have some leadership ability that might be useful to my country.
A lot of Republicans look at him, conservatives, and they see similarities to Ronald Reagan.
Well, I know Fred, and I think he is, AC, all class. I think he's a good guy. I think he's got that Tennessee way about him that I think connects with people. But I don't think that Fred Thompson, and you mentioned Chuck Hagel, I don't think Fred Thompson or Chuck Hagel necessarily believe that they have to have president in front of their name to make a contribution. I don't think John McCain feels like that. So, Fred Thompson will be interesting. That's somebody that's only been stirring the pot for the last couple of weeks. He will be very interesting if he decides to do something.
Speaking about Chuck Hagel, there was a huge buildup, at least among us political news junkies, to what he was going to say this morning. And the bottom line, here's what he said. Let's listen to this clip.
I'm here today to announce that my family and I will make a decision on my political future later this year.
Is that going to hurt him, you think, the fact that we were anticipating an announcement and that's what we got?
Well, to kind of mix my metaphors here, he came, he saw, and he punted. I mean, you're getting there, you're ready for the guy to go out in the shotgun formation, stand about, 6 yards, 5 yards behind the center, and there he is 15 yards back getting ready to punt. We all got excited, thought it was going to be something different.
Well, I think what the senator did today was announce announced that I'm going to wait a little bit longer to see how this thing unfolds. I think Newt Gingrich has kind of taken the same posture. But again, I'm not impressed that Chuck Hagel is it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't get in the race, because I don't think that he feels like he has to have senator or president in front of his name to make a contribution to our country.
We'll see what happens, guys. Thanks very much for coming in. James Carville and J.C. Watts, as you know, they're part of the best political team on